Remember to guard your privacy and be able to community guidelines. Yes, okay, yes. We know it. We know it. Right, I will try. I will endeavor. I will endeavor to show you my workbench. I will endeavor to show you my workbench. Right, excuse me a minute. I move stuff around. Ah! Ah, don't you dare. Don't you dare. Don't you dare. There's my workbench. That's as I can get it for now. Hello, one person. Hello. Let me know who you are. One person. Cheers. Miserable Saturday here. Thoroughly miserable Saturday. Pouring with rain. Yeah. Excuse me a minute. I gotta get myself sorted out here a minute. Hello. Hello, Ralph. Hope you're well. Ah, what a morning. What a morning. I tell you something. I had to go visit a cash point. I wanted to put some money in my PayPal account. So the nearest town with a cash point that'll allow me to do that, believe it or not now, is about 13 miles away. So it's a bus ride, right? So I get the 8:35 to this town. And we get there about 7 minutes past 9, right? Now the terminus, bus terminus, is at the bottom of town. The bank with the cash point is at the top of town, which is sort of like that. So the next bus home, bearing in mind we've arrived 18 minutes past 9, the next bus home is 9:30. So you have like 13 minutes to get from the terminus up to the bank, do what you have to do, cash point, back down to the bus terminus. Because if you miss the bus, then you've got to wait an hour for the next one, which I didn't want to do. And if you get up to the bank at the top of town and there's a queue, you've had it, you've blown it. Luckily this morning there wasn't a queue. The outside cash point was not working for some reason. Don't ask me why. So I had to go in the bank, but thankfully there wasn't a queue, and I just did what I had to do and scoot back down the town, or as much as I can scoot anyway. And I got to the bus terminus and the bus was there with the engine running, so I just got on and came back. It was very close. I have done it. I have to tell you, I have done it. And I've got to the bus terminus and the bus is pulling out just as you reach the terminus. That is just so frustrating, so frustrating. But I managed to do it. I managed to make it this morning. I got a. It's a double-decker, Ralph. It's a double-decker. So I got to get from. Were you living in Plymouth, Ralph? You'll know where I'm at. You got to go to. I got to go to Penzance now. From Portleven to Penzance. So that's like about 12, 13 miles, something like that. Get off at the bottom, the terminus, up to the town, into the bank, and scoot back down again. I made it, and he was there with the engine running. And I just got on and came home, I didn't want to wait around in the cold and the wet an hour for the next one. I would have hated that. So we done it, so that was good. That was good. I want to buy a Bofors anti-aircraft gun and the vehicle to pull it in 135 scale. So that's what I want to do. Listen, I'm rambling. our British Airborne figures are finished. I'm going to make a separate video on this because I have a lot to talk about, so I'll make a separate video on this, probably later today actually. But our British Airborne for, oh, I don't know, somewhere near Arnhem, somewhere like that, they are finished. The only thing I have to do, I just got to finish off 2 bicycles. And I've done the figures for them. And then I've got to put them on a base. Here's the base ready to go. So that's really all I've got to do. Oh, I've got to do the ammunition box for the Piat, the Piat launcher. I've got to do that. Outside of that, figures are done. They're finished, kaput. So what we're working on at the moment is these Czech hedgehogs and these barricades. So what I'm going to have to do with these is, when these are finished, I'm going to make a load of barbed wire, put barbed wire around them, and then I'm going to put them on some bases. You know, I come to the conclusion, rather than buying these and going through the process of painting them and all that business, just go out into the hedgerow and cut some twigs, the right thickness twigs, and you wouldn't have to paint them. You just put them together and they'd be done. So that's what I'm going to do at some point, because I want some more of these. But we will paint them. We'll paint them, I decided we'll paint them neutral grey, sort of like beech bark type things. And I'll put a bit of reconnecting, you're live. Sorry I disappeared then, it just said unable to connect. Don't ask me why. So anyway, yeah, I'll put poles, neutral grey, and we'll put a few white blotches on them. Then I thought what I'd do in part was give them some Army Painter green tone. We'd give them some green tone just to add it effect. But these are some of our airborne guys. How nice they look with the bricks and all that. I'm thrilled to bits, thrilled to bits. Here's our sniper with some debris on there. Yeah, thrilled to bits for these. Couldn't be more pleased. Now what I got to do with this guy is Brigadier. I've got to put a map in him, map in his hand. But yeah, nice looking figures. Very pleased with wireless operator. Lovely looking wireless operator. So he's done. And the Piat team, I love the Piat team. Yeah, really, really pleased with that. You'll see them better when I put them on the turntable and get the lighting sorted out. You'll see them better. But all I got to do for that is just paint up the ammunition. Oh, let me do that a minute. Who was that? Hello, Angkor Wat. Hi there, and a nice weekend. Thank you, and nice weekend to you too. Like I was just saying just now, I had a very rushed morning, but I'm back with it now. So let's get on and we'll get some color on these. Try and get this stuff out the way. Bench is a mess again. we'll try and get some colour on these Czech hedgehogs. That I'm using is olive grey. Yes, I've got a lot of things to talk about. If I do a separate video, not a live video, but I do a separate video, I've got a lot of things to talk about because I want to show you those 3D printed figures. We'll have a look at them. And I want to go and get into that Zulu Wars British starter box. I'm going to have a look at that, show you that. So we'll do that. We'll put these on the turntable, these British Airborne. So we'll do that. Some of you out there recently have been painting Highlanders. It seems quite a popular thing to do at the moment is to paint Highlanders. So I thought what I would do is I would put together and do that figure. It's one of the old Airfix figures. So I thought I would put that together. And then I'll give you my method for painting tartan. Because it's not the easiest thing in the world to paint tartan. But my opinion is if you approach it right, you can make a good job of it. I've not yet, of all the tartans I've seen people paint for Napoleonics, I have not seen anybody dare to attempt Cameron pattern. Am I the only one that's had the nerve to attempt Cameron pattern? Most people paint either Black Watch or Gordon Highlanders, which is what I'll do that figure. I'll do that figure as a Gordon Highlander. But nobody I've seen thus far has dared to attempt Cameron pattern, which is quite involved, I have to say. Here's my, oh, excuse me a minute for leaning across you. Here's my Cameron Highlanders in 1/72 scale. So whether you can see how well you can see that. But that came out, probably can't see it very well on that, but it came out very well. It came out very well. I was well pleased with them. But I've not seen anybody else dare to attempt Cameron pattern. So we'll see if anybody has a go at it. But we'll do that Airfix figure and we'll put them together. And I'll give you my method for painting tartan. You know, I always say if you paint tartan, you paint any of that. That and some of the German camouflage patterns for late war, like oak leaf and pea dot and this type of stuff. You can paint that or tartan. You paint anything. You paint anything. So let's get some colour on these Czech hedgehogs. So how is everybody's weekend going? Anybody here doing anything special for the weekend? What are you up to? Let me know what you're up to for the weekend. I'm interested to know what people do at the weekends. What do you do at the weekends, apart from painting miniatures and stuff? Oh, here's a job I gotta do. Actually, here's something I do. Here's something I have to do, the job I have to do. Put this figure on a base, our gamekeeper. Lovely figure that by Masterbox. Absolutely lovely figure. He's done, I just got to put him on a base. What I'm going to do, once I've done these Czech hedgehogs and these arcades and done the barbed wire, what I'll do next is, what I wasn't planning to do actually, but what I'll do next is, let me get sorted out here a minute and I'll show you what I got next. I'm going to have that's 2 boxes of civilians. Foundry miniatures. What was that? I didn't read all that. Don't disappear that comment. Foundry miniatures, how they are and what's the quality. by the way. Tartans are hell. Tartans are hell. I have no knowledge of foundry miniatures. No, I don't know anything about foundry miniatures. It's one thing, by and large, I sort of tend to avoid, that's metal miniatures. I'm not hugely keen on metal miniatures, to be honest with you. But I know some of you out there like metal miniatures very much. But I'm not a huge fan. I've got some here that I will be doing. I've got particularly some for pike and shot I've got here that I'll be doing, metal miniatures. But I'm not a huge fan. But we'll see how I get on when we get round to some pike and shot. But I have no knowledge of foundry miniatures. But you are right about when you say about tartan. Tartan can be very daunting when you first look at it. You see all these lines and stripes, and you're a fan of foundry. Well, yeah, I no knowledge of foundry figures at all, so I can't comment on that. I've not a huge experience with metal miniatures per se, actually. But I have bought one or two pieces for pike and shot, like artillery pieces and stuff. You know, you see them there on eBay reasonably cheap. They're not bad figures. They're not bad figures. If you give them, you give these figures the time they deserve, they're not bad figures. They come out very well. It's like these 54mm or whatever they are, FX figures. You give them the time they deserve, they're very acceptable. Very acceptable figures. They look very good. They look very good. I mean, I can't complain at all. The way these have turned out. The way they've turned out is excellent. I can't complain at all. You know, they look very good. They look very good. If my Wehrmacht troops come out the same as these, or as good as these, I will be very happy indeed. I will be very happy indeed. And they're a very small one, as I've told you before, they're a very small 132. So you can mix them with your 135. No problem at all. No problem at all. They look very good. But as I was saying, going back to what I was saying, after we've done these barricades and Czech hedgehogs, I hadn't planned to do this, but I will do these because it shouldn't take long to do. So these couple of boxes of civilians, so we'll get them done because they're basically a lot of plain colours. There's no involved painting like Denison smocks and stuff. They're just plain figures, so we'll get them done. But for now, we will get on with these Czech hedgehogs. Yeah, I looked online at pictures of Czech hedgehogs, and the colour seemed to be olive grey for them. Here's a handy thing to have: nail clippers for clipping wayward hairs off brushes. Ideal, ideal. Some number 5. Good morning, number 5, whoever you are. Glad you're with us. Hope your Saturday's going well. As I was saying to the others just now, I'm late today because I had to rush to another town. But such is life. Such is life. That's the state of our nation when your town hasn't even got a bank. And in my nearest town, it used to have like, I think about 4 banks and assorted building societies as well. That's what it was like. Now it's got absolutely 0 of anything. Dreadful, dreadful. I got a feeling I'm going to need to give these 2 coats, but such is life. Yeah, it's very sad when your town hasn't got a bank. I mean, it's supposed to be a market town, and you haven't even got a bank. I mean, what the hell is it coming to? Yeah, I might buy some more boxes of these, actually. I like these. But I won't, like I said to you just now, I won't be buying the boxes of barricades, because I will think I can make them out of twigs or something. When the weather's dry and I can get out a bit. Good morning, number 6. That was number 6. Howdy, howdy. Who's saying howdy? Excuse me. Barry Hall, howdy, Barry. Good morning, hope you're well. I hope you're well, enjoying your Saturday. What's the weather like where you're to? It's pouring with rain here. I went out this morning, I had a huge brolly with me. Ow, ow. Right, let's have a look. Fiddly old things to put together, these, to get them right. I'm in Sunderland, it's ghastly. Right, it must be nationwide then. The weather must be nationwide. Where is the 7 of 9? Don't know that one. Yeah, number 6, that was a famous number. That was Patrick McGowan's number, wasn't it, in The Prisoner? Number 6. Anybody watch that series, The Prisoner? Great series. Didn't make enough of them. Should have made more of them. Marvelous. Yeah, you're right. Marvelous. Very surreal in part. In that funny little village. Yeah. It led you to think, actually, was it reality or was it just all up there in the mind? They were going to make more of them, but somebody pulled the plug on it, which is a shame. But I've got it here, the complete series, The Complete Prisoner. I got a lot of the old series here. One I've been watching the last few evenings, I've been watching episodes of, and that's Cold Hits. I've been watching that one. Can't believe that was made in 1972. That. Very, very good series. David McCallum and what's the other guy? American guy. It'll come to me in a minute. Yeah, very good series. They knew how to make series back then, TV series, good ones. The crap they put out now. That's why I don't have a TV now. Quality and detail very good. Some of the, I want to read that. Quality and detail very good. They paint well, but the figure range are very old now, so the style isn't compatible to more recent sculpts. All down to personal taste. Robert Wagner, that's it. That's right. Robert Wagner, it's Robert Wagner, not Richard Wagner. He's a composer. It's Robert Wagner. But you're right. Thank you for reminding me. Yeah. Some really good acting in it. Yeah. Richard Wagner, yeah, he was a composer, wasn't he? Richard Wagner. 1 minute he was alive and composing, next minute he was dead and decomposing. Yeah. Yeah, so what I do with these is, I always leave a little bit where I'm holding it. And when it's dry, I'll come back and touch in the bit that I was holding. Here we go. So what I'll do with these Czech hedgehogs is I'll put them 3 to a base, make up some bases, put some filler on, and then I'll put probably 3 to a base, and I'll put some rusts and stuff on them as well. But that's not bad, that's not bad. Nice peaceful job to do for a Saturday morning, painting Czech hedgehogs. Yeah, I'm going to order some, mentioning hedgehogs, I'm going to order some stuff today for my local hedgehog rescue. Because they're getting hedgehogs all the time that are, getting into difficulties. And I think it would be a sad place if you never saw a hedgehog. I think it would be a sadder place. But it just shows how things are declining. Like I said to you, I believe I said to you this last week, at 1 minute, at one point in time we had like 60 million hedgehogs roaming around country. Now we're down to 1 million. Now we're down to 1 million. So they're getting to be an endangered species. Which is not good. It's not good. So she has a wish list of things she wants, the lady that does the hedgehog rescue. So I'm going to sort her out with a few bits. Is there any rugby on at the moment? Anybody know if there's any rugby on at the moment? Any sport of any notable kind on at the moment? Any boxing or anything? What's with the boxing at the moment? Who's the heavyweight champion at the moment? Anybody know who the heavyweight champion is at the moment? Mind you, with boxing, you've got so many versions of these things. I mean, it gets ridiculous, doesn't it? Half a dozen versions. You've got half a dozen people all claiming to be heavyweight champion. See, in my day, it was, or our day, for the older ones here, it was Muhammad Ali or Frazier, and that was it. And it was either one of them, or for a while it was George Foreman. But you knew who the champion was. You didn't have half a dozen versions of the damn thing. But anybody know who's claiming to be champion at the moment? What happened to Tyson Fury? What happened to him? Is he come and gone, is he? Oh yes. What's that? Blaming Germany? What's that? Blaming Germany, the rest of the world. Blaming Germany for what? Please explain yourself. What are we blaming Germany for? Or we can blame Germany for some things, like World War II. And World War One. There you go, that's another one done. But I think I will need to give these a second coat. But they're going to look nice on bases, grassed out and stuff. They're going to look good. Give me a bit more grey here. Should be using my paint shaker. Not to forget World War III. Well, I gotta be honest with you, when you say not to forget World War III, that wouldn't surprise me. That wouldn't surprise me at all, the way the world is going. It's not going in the right direction. But now we're getting into the realms of... Gonna have to order some more of this. We're gonna have to get into the realms now of conspiracy theories and all this stuff, aren't we? And who's doing what behind the scenes and all that, and the Illuminati and all the people, because there's definitely an agenda. I mean, for start off, get rid of that bit. For start off, oh, hang on, my phone is moving. For start off, they're trying to get everybody. Harry F. Hi, Karen. Hi, Harry. They're trying to get everybody to bank online in a cashless society. That's one thing they are trying to do. So they're closing all the banks and taking out all the cash points and stuff. They're always trying to force you one way all the time, which is it's not good. It's not good the way things are going. Going back to old TV series, change the subject again. Also, I've been watching, as well as Coleridge, which I like enormously, and that's Kojak. I've been watching Kojak. I've got the complete Kojak here. I think there's about 118 episodes or something like that he did. And that's very good. I like that very much, Kojak. Yeah, Telly Savalas, underrated as an actor. Very good guy. Well, even his brother actually was quite good. George was quite good. Stavros. Yeah. George Savalas, yeah. Another one that was quite good that I actually don't have here, but I liked quite well, Streets of San Francisco. That was quite good with Karl Malden and Michael Douglas. That was quite a good series. I might look out for that one, see if there's a set for that online. Because that was quite a good series. That was a long time ago. Well, Kojak was like, I think that was early 1970 or 72, something like that. But yeah, I like these old series. Escapism. That's what it's all about. Escape from reality. Mine, Ria. Oh yeah, I'm a lollipop baby. I do love the... What was that? UFO by Jerry Anderson. Yeah, I vaguely remember that. UFO. I vaguely remember that. Because that Anderson fella, he was the guy that did Thunderbirds and all that. He did Thunderbirds and Joe 90 and all that, didn't he? That guy. Then he went into sort of live action as well with UFO, yeah. That's an old series, isn't it? UFO. Well, Thunderbirds is it's 1960s, isn't it? I got that here, the complete Thunderbirds. I haven't watched it yet. But all good stuff, all good stuff. Another one I like for a bit of fun is Wacky Races. I don't mind watching Wacky Races for a while. That's all good stuff. Here you go. Looking good. Check hedgehogs. I think I did about 3 boxes worth of these. Check hedgehogs. And like I say, if I put them 3 to a base, that should look pretty good. That should look pretty good. Coat of olive green and get a bit of rust on them. These will look good. Maybe get these finished and the barbed wire on the barricades, and we can get on them with them civilians. Here we go. So still having my heating system installed. That's been very stressful to say the least. But what's got to be done has got to be done, I suppose. Not my choice. I didn't want it done, actually. But housing associations will do what housing associations will do. And I suppose I shouldn't knock it too much. I should be grateful that I have a roof over my head. Which is good, because there's a lot of homeless people at the moment. More homeless people than there should be, which is not good. Homeless people and injured hedgehogs. But yeah, looking forward to helping her out, the hedgehog lady. Nice lady, actually. Nice lady. Well, you got to be pretty decent, I think, when you're to help hedgehogs. So anybody out there, don't paint too thick, Karen. Anybody out there got any questions? Anything you want to ask me? I will answer anything you want to ask me. There you go. What do you want to know, folks? Anything you want to ask me? Triffids, a real classic. Day of the Triffids. I've never read that book. I've honestly never read that book. Time Tunnel, yeah, that's familiar. Time Tunnel. Yeah, that's familiar. I haven't got it here, but it's familiar. Day of the Triffids, yeah, I never read that. I've never read that. A great book, Day of the Triffids. I know the sort of story behind it, or the thing behind it, but I've never read it. Wasn't it made into a film? I don't think it's made into a film. Short. Yeah. Tell me if I'm wrong. I think that was made into a film, wasn't it? Day of the Triffids. Short book. Yeah. You know what to say about the phone directory? It's a long read. Cast of thousands, but the plot's crap. Film in a couple of series. Yeah. 1950s movie. Yeah, sounds about right. Yeah. A bit like The Birds by Alfred Hitchcock. I got that film here. That's an old film now. But quite a good film. Yeah, telephone directory. Cast of thousands, but the plot's crap. Day of the Triffids. Yeah. I like old movies, I gotta say. It's a nice thing to do, watch these old movies again. It's like the TVs. The movies are like the TV series, the old movies. They knew how to make a movie back then. You know, they knew how to make a movie back then. The film wasn't very good, but the BBC series from the 80s was good. The more recent TV series was heavily altered plot. Oh, you can't alter it too much. That's no good if you, oh, excuse my language here, but it's no good if you bug around with the plot, is it? What was that about the birds? I missed that comment. Birds are film. They're all around to torture your mind. Yeah, that's the thing with the Birds movie, isn't it? It's like a psychological thriller type thing. But it's an enjoyable. I like it. It's an enjoyable film. But yeah, I do like old movies. I gotta say, I'm a bit of an old movie collector, and I like um, old movies with Robert Taylor. I like as well. I like him very much. Ivanhoe, a good film. Knights of the Round Table, Quentin Durward, all these type films I like. If you can get them, I like them. Gotta keep thinning this paint. Gotta keep thinning it. Robert Taylor was very good. Very, very good at what he did. Smoked himself to death, unfortunately. Ended up with lung cancer, and that was the end of him. I think he was only in his 40s when he died, which is not a good age. Not a good age, folks. Mind you, my father was only 43 when he died. But that's, when you gotta go, folks. That's it. Here we go. Yeah, the birds. Yeah, they're after you, the birds. You're right. Sometimes I think it's like that here with the bloody seagulls. They're after you. But yeah, when you gotta go, you gotta go. That's when your time's up, your time's up. Comes to us all in the end. Not something I'm looking forward to, but who knows what's in store for us when we go? Who knows? Yeah, I enjoy painting these. These are quite a nice break actually from painting figures. Yeah. The Nazis would be proud of me making Czech hedgehogs. Gonna need some more paint in a minute, Karen. Gonna need some more paint. Yeah, I like these very much. How long have we been going at this? 45 minutes already, my God. It's amazing how quickly time goes. Make sure you don't miss any bits on these. Which is easily done. You can easily miss bits on these. Here we go. Ah, see, I missed that bit, you see. Oh, you can see that. Yeah, I missed that bit. Easily done. Very easily done. Here we go. Onward, ever onward. Get half of it on my fingers. Where's me paint? Where's me paint? Get rid of that on the screen a minute. Want to finish just the wheels on those bikes, actually. I had a look at them online, those World War II folding bikes for the Paras, and they seem to be olive green as well. Leather saddle. And then just everything else olive green and black tires. So whilst I'm thinking about it, I'll finish off the little bits that I was holding on these bikes. Even the spokes are olive green on these things. There we go. One olive green bicycle. Just a little bit up there, I think. There we go. Yeah, all jobs to do, isn't it? It's amazing how much stuff I got to do on my workbench. And then, of course, it's really a never-ending thing because you're always looking at jobs further down the line. Like in my case, Roman forts that I want to do. Because I've got 3 Roman forts here I want to build, so I want to crack at them. Here we go. That's your bikes painted. Right, check our jobs. I gotta go and get a cup of coffee in a minute or something. Ugh, I don't like drinking cold tea. Yeah. So what are you all painting at the moment? Let me know what you're painting at the moment, if you're painting anything. What are you doing at the moment? What are you all working on at the moment? Wretched seagulls. I wish they'd shut up. Yeah, what are you all painting at the moment? Are any of you painting anything at the moment? Or is it estate seekers? Captain Hornblower, that was with Gregory Peck, I believe, wasn't it? El Cid, that was Charlton Heston. I've got that here, El Cid. Yeah. He also did Charlton Heston, he did I think in the Sudan he did. He was killed in the end. I forget what it was now. Khartoum, he did that, didn't he? That type of thing he did as well. He did some very good films, Charlton Heston, I gotta say. Even, yeah, Khartoum, that's right. Even, I tell you, even the Planet of the Apes movie that he did was very good. I like that, Planet of the Apes. It's a novel idea. Prussian Grenadiers, 7 Years' War. I've made a while ago. Ah, good. I wish you every success. That's quite a popular period, isn't it? 7 Years' War. That's quite a popular period. Yeah. I think you have to be reasonably you have to limit yourself to a certain extent on what periods you do, because otherwise you do. Excuse my eBay there. Oh, it's not. It's a notification for a video somebody's put up. So excuse the noise anyway, if you heard it. Yeah, you have to be reasonably limiting to yourself on what you do, otherwise you never really finish anything, do you? I think you can only work at so many you can only do so many periods, I think. We're all actually spoilt for choice with the periods that we could do and that we like to do, but if you're going to do complete armies in different periods, then you can only do so many, because like it took me to do those Napoleonic armies in 1/72 scale. It took me about 3 years. So, you know, how much can you do? How much can you do? So what was that last comment? Look at that last. Pumani rebasing Second Punic Wars. Yeah, that was Punic Wars, wasn't that? And some Austrians in the same 54mm scale too, still waiting for some boats. Yeah, Punic Wars, wasn't that? Wasn't Rome involved in that? I think Rome was involved in that, wasn't it? The Punic Wars. When was that Punic Wars? Was that Republican period or Imperial period? I don't know a lot about these things. Like I say, at the moment I'm a bit more up to date doing the British Airborne. Although I've got a lot of Imperial Romans to do here, I gotta say. But I think you can only do so much, can't you, before you get bogged down in it a bit, really. Particularly if you're like me, a reasonably slow painter. But it sure is a lovely hobby, I'll say that much. So what periods am I actually doing? I did Napoleonics. What was that comment? I missed that comment. Carthaginians, yeah. Rome and the Carthaginian Republic, yeah. So what periods am I doing? Napoleonics, World War II, looking forward to seeing Roman forts when you start. Yeah. Napoleonics, World War II, and Romans, and a few Zulu wars. That's about it really, although I have got Saxons and Vikings here and so forth. I may just do odd few of them for some of that. It's going to all pan out really. I'll show you those forts. Excuse me for disappearing there for a second. Let's get rid of that off the screen a minute. So there you go. That's it. Yeah. I have these are going for a considerable price these days. These forts. I am lucky enough to have 3 all boxed and complete. 2 of them, I'll tell you something. 2 of them had steps missing inside, but there's somebody on eBay who prints 3D prints spares, so I managed to get the steps. So these 3 forts are all complete now. Yeah. The only thing I'm going to do is modify it a tiny bit, because as you can probably see, sort of there and there and there, you need to cut that piece out, because otherwise figures can't get along the wall along there. So I'm going to cut that piece out. But other than that, I'll cover them in stone paper, and they should look pretty good. They should look pretty good. Base them up. They should look pretty good. So that's something I do want to do. Well, I had it in mind to finish this, get these barricades and tank traps done. Then I had a little box of something else I was going to do. Then I was going to do the Roman forts. But everything's been shunted back one, because I'm quickly going to do those 2 boxes of civilians and get them put together and painted. But they shouldn't take long, because they're just basic colours. There's nothing fancy about them, and they haven't got a lot of equipment on them or anything like that. They're just basic figures. So do them, do the box of what I had in mind, then we'll have a crack at them Roman forts. I think that's the way I'm going to do it. But it's amazing how much you get on your workbench to do, jobs pending. But it's all good, because it keeps you occupied, keeps you out of mischief. In my case, it stops me thinking about things I ought not to be thinking about, which is great. And if I wasn't talking to you nice people, I would probably have a video going here or something, or a CD going, and just work away at this. But I've done a lot of hobbies in my time, but I gotta say this is probably the nicest. You know, what's been nice is getting online and meeting the nice people. That's been nice, and making friends, and it's been great. It's been great. Thoroughly enjoyable, thoroughly rewarding. Here we go. That's another one. So how many of these have we got? Oh, how many of these have we got left to do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 left to do. Fort Apache. Yeah, what's the comments? I've got to keep up with the comments here. Come on, show me the comments. My childhood is back, and now the Fort Apache and Fort Sahara. I've been trying to get one of them, Fort Sahara. I want a Fort Sahara, but I haven't been able to get one. Fort Apache with the wagon train set. Yeah, remember it. I've been looking for a Fort Sahara, but I can't seem to find one. Or I haven't done as yet. And you know, it's like we said with the Roman forts, these things go for good money these days. If you want one that's complete, in good condition, they go for good money. So you do have to be prepared to put your hand in your pocket to pay for these things if you want them. But they are nice. And if those Roman forts come out as well as the excuse me just a second. Ah, shit, that was my leg. If they come out with the stone paper, if they come out as nice as that came out, then they'll be all right. They'll be all right. That stone paper is excellent stuff. It's excellent stuff. I can only seem to get it from Greece for some reason. I don't know why that. It just seems to be one. Absolutely right. Yeah. There only seems to be one supplier of that paper, and he's in Greece. And so it takes a few weeks for it to get here. But it's great. It's great. And those forts should look all the better for it. Because reissued, I think, but it's still hard to get. What was that? I didn't finish reading that. Don't take it away. Strong Point. Give us the Strong Point. Yeah. Yes, it's a nice model, the Strong Point. I was pleased with it. The only thing I didn't like about it was the sandbags. The sandbags were very sort of cheap and nasty, if you like. So I ditched them, and I used the Tamiya sandbags, which are much better. And jollied it up a bit with the telegraph pole and a few pigeons, and it looks great. It looks great. And you put these figures in it. It's fabulous. It's wonderful. So yeah, I will at some point get a Fort Sahara from somewhere. That's what I'm going to do. Right, check Hedgehog. But even like you say, even reissued, these things can still go for good money. And it's just, I won't pay ridiculous money for these things. The Jungle, I tell you what it was in 132, it was, if you were thinking about the Jungle, it was the bamboo house. That's what it was, the bamboo house. I've got one here, the bamboo house. That's a nice model also, bamboo house. It's actually in this scale, 132, 135. It's difficult to get stuff for Japanese. You can get the Airfix figures for the Japanese. Fort Sahara back in the loft at my parents'. Lucky you, lucky you. I want a Fort Sahara. Yeah, there's not a lot of stuff really compared to other figures. There's not a lot of stuff for the Japanese, for the Nippon forces. You can use their fixed figures like I'm doing here with the British Airborne, but kit figures, there's not a huge amount. Vehicle-wise, seems to be very difficult. I've got one or two tanks here. Tamiya do a what do they call it, Chai-Ha tank or something. But compared to other things, it's sad that the Nippon forces are sadly lacking. It's a shame. It's a shame. But who knows what companies will bring out in the future. But as far as wargaming goes, I do think we live in very fortunate times, because we are, to be honest with you, spoilt for choice in figures and kits and so on and so forth, compared to what we had when we was kids. You know, as us oldies remember, in our day it was just like Airfix, and that was it. That was all there was Airfix. But now we have a whole plethora of stuff, which is wonderful. I have, I'll tell you what, mentioning 135, the Bamboo in 172 and 132. Do anyone remember those Japanese company, Nitto? What was that, Nitto? What are you saying about Nitto there? Give it that a minute. Diorama plate. Don't remember Nitto. That's the new one on me, Nitto. Where were they? Where were they from? Nitto. It sounds Japanese or Chinese or something. Yeah, never heard of them. Nitto. Nitto. Tell you what I was going to say was, we've been talking in the last few weeks, talking about these airborne figures. I want to put some on parachutes. Well, to that end, I think I'm camouflaging my fingers here. Olive green fingers. To that end, with the British Airborne, here we go. I have bought some big sheets of tissue paper for which to make the parachutes. So when I've got 5 minutes, I'm going to have a go at that. I think I can do it. I think I can do it with a balloon. Because I remember I said to you, last week or the week before, 1 week I said to you, it's very convenient for a World War II British parachute. The diameter is 35 feet. I looked it up. It's 35 feet. Eschi, Arnhem D-Day, Singapore. Yeah. I remember those kits by Eschi, the dioramas and stuff. I gotta find a better way of advertising myself before I go live. I gotta sort that out. So yeah, you can watch it later. Nice to have you here anyway. Nice to see you. Yes, I remember the diorama things by Eschi. I remember them. But yeah, going back to the parachutes, I think I could do that with a balloon, because, like I say, they're 35 feet in diameter, and for 135 scale, that's perfect. It's just a foot across. So you get a decent sized balloon, blow it up to a foot, and you can use that like we did when we was kids. We made paper masks and stuff, and then pop a balloon afterwards when it's dry, Do a similar thing for parachute. I think that'll work. I think that'll work quite well. That's my idea anyway for British Airborne parachute. I've got to find some suitable figures. I'd probably gonna have to modify them and get them like that or like that. But that's going to be fun. The Omega Man. Don't remember that, the Omega Man. Last of the Mohicans. I've never watched that, Last of the Mohicans. So I can't comment on that one, Last of the Mohicans. Don't know anything about Last of the Mohicans. Can't comment on that one. Getting through this. Olive Grey, like I said to you, I'm gonna... Solent Green, good movie. What's that about? Solent Green or Solent Green? What's that about? Let me know what that's about. If it's any good, I'll seek it out. Not heard of that movie. Solent Green. What's it about? What's it about? Fill me in on these things. These modern type movies, I'm not up to speed on these modern type movies. Like I say, with me, it's all the older stuff that I watch. Beware what you eat, it could be your neighbour. Oh, it's one of those movies, is it? Right. Yeah. Bit like Made in the 70s. Oh, it's a reasonably old film. I can't say I've heard of it. Oh, look into that. It's a bit like Sweeney Todd type thing, is it? Beware what you eat. Could be your neighbour. Dr. Crippen. I said that to a lady one day. Or actually, I was in a church coffee morning. It was pouring with rain outside. Not many people turned up. It was just a very, very small handful of us round a table, and we was all looking glum, and nobody was really saying anything. And it was all pouring with rain and cold and stuff, and just to break the ice. Bang Baby the Year was New York 2022, Make Room as a movie, right? And just to break the ice on this, nobody saying anything. I said, isn't it awful about Dr. Crippen? And one lady looked up and said, who's Dr. Crippen? So I had to explain to her then what happened with Dr. Crippen. She didn't know who Dr. Crippen was. The first guy to be arrested by wireless telegraphy, Dr. Crippen. And there is good evidence to support the case that Mrs. Crippen wasn't dead, she was in America. But they did find remains in Crippen's basement. So who that was, we may never know. Lunch calls. Nice to have you. Nice to see you. Enjoy your lunch, whatever you have for lunch. I'm going to go for lunch in a minute. I got boiled eggs and fish today. That's what I got. Yeah, there's good evidence to support the fact that Mrs. Crippen was in America. But they did find remains in Crippen's basement. So who that was, we may never know. Yeah, it is a thing. Here's the thing. I saw a little video yesterday, only about 20-minute thing on YouTube. I didn't know this. When we go talking about Alcatraz, have a nice weekend. Yeah, have a nice weekend, Angkor Wat. Yeah, when we talk about, because I go on a lot about Alcatraz and the escape from Alcatraz, when we talk about that, Frank Morris and the Anglin brothers, they made a raft out of raincoats, right? And it's always been said, another one, it's always been said that they never found the raft. They never found the raft. It's one of the sort of big statements in that case. They never found the raft. Newly released documents, FBI documents, say they did find the raft. And it was on Angel Island, which is a short hop from Alcatraz Island. And not only did they find the raft on Angel Island, they found footprints with it. So there you go. And on the back of Angel Island, there are boats moored on the back of Angel Island, so it was then easy for them to get a boat to the mainland. And it's also reported that that night a car was stolen, a blue, I think it was a blue Chevrolet if I remember rightly, was stolen. And there's also a report, a guy reported nearly being run off the road by a blue Chevrolet. And I promise I will proper up my English. Your English is fine. I know what your English is fine. I know what you mean. I know what you mean. So have a nice weekend. Nice to see you. Yeah, a guy reported nearly being run off the road by 3 men in a blue Chevrolet. You know, driving at high speed. So that says to you, doesn't it? If they're saying that the raft was found, there was footprints by it, blah, blah, that tells you they escaped. That tells you they made it. Their raft was good enough to get them where they wanted to go, which was Angel Island. Get off the island, get a boat, go to the mainland, nick a car, and you're gone. So it's, yeah. I didn't know that. It was always a statement, oh, we never found the raft, we never found the raft. They did find the raft. So that all that tells you that their escape attempt was successful. A very ingenious escape attempt, very well thought out, very well executed, and you have to hand it to them for being so ingenious and so clever, these people. I hope they enjoyed their freedom. Highly unlikely they're alive now, because when was this? Year was this? 1962. 1962, so what's that? To the 61 years ago. So say they were in their 20s, yeah, 70s, 80s. It's just about possible, I suppose. But they're not going to tell you where they're to for sure. But a greatly interesting story, and a good movie as well with Clint Eastwood. A good movie. Escape from Alcatraz. Yeah, it's a good movie. It wasn't as escape-proof as they made out, the authorities. But it was Houdini that used to say, "Stone walls and steel bars do not a prison make." And maybe he was right. Maybe he was right. Yeah, it's getting on lunchtime. I've had a busy morning. So I think what we'll do is we'll finish these Czech hedgehogs. How many have we got left to do? We've got 2 left to do, so we'll finish them. Thoroughly enjoyable morning chatting to you people. And like I say, what I will do, is it 1 o'clock, is it? Yeah, it's 1 o'clock. Yeah, it's getting lunchtime. What I will do is I'll make a separate video and we'll have a look at the Zulu Wars box set and the 3D printed figures. We'll have a look at them. We'll get some on the turntable and we'll put these British Airborne on the turntable as well. We'll get them on the turntable. And we'll have a natter for the general populace. There you go. That's another one. Yeah, I think these are going to look very good on bases, all based up, these hedgehogs. Very good, very good. Get these last 2 done. We can go for lunch. Possibly even after lunch, sort out the hedgehog lady, get her some stuff that she needs sorted out. Because her requirements are quite particular for these hedgehogs. You have to be careful, you know, what you use on them and antibiotics and stuff like that. You have to be very careful with these little creatures. She has a wish list, an Amazon wish list, stuff that she requires for the hedgehogs that she's got in her, wherever she keeps her hedgehogs. You can go on Facebook and look at Porthleven Harbour Hedgies, and you can see stuff about the hedgehogs and stuff. Very worthwhile cause. So we're going to be helping that lady for sure. Yeah, I'm going to look up who's the heavyweight champion of the world at the moment, boxing. I don't know who the champion is. Here we go, that's that one. Here we go. Yeah, gonna look good, gonna look good. This is the last one. Yeah, I got a bit on my fingers, but not to worry. Can't be helped. Job's gotta be done. There's that Napoleonic British Miniature Wargaming 95th Rifles. I'll have a look at that in a bit. Alex Price. It's quite a big community, isn't it? I'll say that. The wargaming community is amazing how big it is actually when you go online and on Facebook and stuff. It's amazing how many people are into wargaming. It's a very big community. It's a nice community too. Be nice if there was a few more ladies involved. I keep looking, but I can't really find any. There we go. All but done. All but done. So another thing I've got to watch, which I haven't got around to watching yet, which I like very much, talking about old TV series and stuff. I got all the Doctor Who's here with Jon Pertwee, which I like. I thought he was a very good Doctor Who, Jon Pertwee. So I got all them to watch. Tom Baker was alright, he wasn't too bad. I sort of lost interest a bit after that, when he went. But I do like Doctor Who with Jon Pertwee. Very good doctor. Very good Wurzel Gummidge as well, actually. Which is great fun. There we go. Try not to get this paint too thick on these. There we go. I think that will do us for that one. Yeah, there you go. Alright, so I still got the little ends to do that I was holding. I still got them to do. But that's okay. A tray of Czech hedgehogs. So I'll have luncheon and do those barricades. In time I've done these, those hedgehogs will be dry and I can run over the odd ends then. The interesting thing is going to be making the barbed wire. That's going to be a interesting thing. I got the new Doctor Who post 255 is actually pretty decent. Right, let's just have a look at that again. Once you get series 1 out of the way and you settle into the David Tennant, Matt Smith stuff, it's really enjoyable. My wee boy loves it too. Ah, so you're recommending modern Doctor Who? Yeah, maybe I might give that a go perhaps. Yeah, I've watched sort of modern Doctor Who for, well, like I say, since Tom Baker. You know, once he went, I sort of didn't watch it really. Maybe I might give that a go perhaps. I'm sure it'll be online or on YouTube or something. Right, got to clean this brush out because there's, as you can see, upteen ton of green paint right down the bottom of the bristles. So I have to get that out. Tell you what is good for doing this type of thing, and that's, and it's coming out. That's this stuff, yellow stuff. It's called Zest-It. It's a non-toxic stuff, but it's great for putting your brushes in, working them round. It really gets the crap out the brushes. It's called Zest-It. So you can use that, and once you've used that, use a good brush soap to really look at. Oh, what was that? Was that a Czech hedgehog? Yes. don't do that. It's really worth looking after your brushes because they're expensive. Good brushes are expensive. So you really need to look after them, particularly sable brushes are expensive, which is what I always recommend. Sable brushes. I don't like synthetic brushes. Synthetic brushes lose their tip almost immediately. I can't cope with synthetic brushes. Yeah, I'm going to have to work quite hard to get this green out of this brush. Let's get some soap on it. Right, now we'll see how this work that round, see how this gets the pigment out of the brush. Got to work that quite hard. Yeah, it's going, it's going. Okay, so just working at it to get that stuff out the bottom of the bristles, because that's where the crap builds up. It's right down the bottom end of the brush, and it gets dried in and blocked in, and it's a damn nuisance. That's what will really ruin a brush. So all that crap down in the bottom end. So let's work that in this zested again. Yeah, I can still see a bit down there. What I might do is just work some soap into this brush. And leave it until I've had lunch. So we'll leave that until I've had lunch and I'll come back to it. So I'm going to tidy up here now. I'm going to have lunch and I'm starving hungry. Been down to PZ and back today, so I need some lunch, and we'll have some lunch and then we'll get on with these barricades. So as always, thank you all for dropping by and saying hello. Nice to see you all. Hope whatever you're building, making, putting together, painting, whatever, I hope it all goes well for you. Bye all, have a great day off. Thanks for the chat, bye. See you later. What I'll do is, probably this evening, I'll do another video this evening, and we'll put these British Airborne on the whirligig, on the turntable, so you can have a proper look at them with some decent lighting. And we'll have a look at that British Starter Army for Zulu Wars. Various things I'll do. Kill a multitude of birds with one stone. That's what we'll do this evening. So, thanks for watching. Thanks for joining. Catch you this evening.